So mysterious creatures, extraterrestrial sightings, alien sightings. If you on a hunt for stuff like that, you're in the right spot. Cause I am too. Let's check out this video.
And there's a little slot in it right up there. You can see that little slot. Dude, giants are I don't care what anybody says.
Details coming in on a bizarre discovery in Northridge.
Found in what's being described as a human dug cave.
And they believe that they actually lived deep inside this cave. These reptilian type humanoid beings.
It's not just a cave. It's an actual world, and it's so deep that it looks like it's an entrance to a whole other reality.
The very reason for the era of alien crafts to have reduced over the years is because they have started to reside on the planet. Get ready to witness the aliens that were found in a cave, where the ending is going to shock you. Run! Talking about skeletons from the past, this explorer had to face the consequences of trespassing almost immediately. An unknown cave explorer, who after exploring a haunted cave, almost thought to have bust the myth, until he noticed something was following him. Within seconds of the first demon revealing itself, several
It's like a video game to me or something.
more appeared, making the explorer run for his life. Despite things looking bad in the clip, the fact that the footage made it to the internet and was cut off randomly probably means it's safe to assume that the explorer survived the encounter.
Now this is the type of stuff I think we'll see like in like virtual reality. Like possibly when they ramp up the talks again about like metaverse or different things like that. These are the type of things you'll be able to experience if you want to, I think. If you want to be like, okay, I want to go through a maze or a setting of running from aliens or stuff like that. You're like, who wants to do that? There's people out there want to do that, man.
Another possible Skinwalker. Looks like the Skinwalkers are done hiding behind the dark and the tall grass, and are now starting to make an open appearance. A Mexican tourist in Managua, Malecon, Nicaragua, was documenting his stay near Lake Xolotal when he noticed a Skinwalker that made an appearance while recording the landscape. It appeared to have come out from the water and instantly spooked the tourist, though it didn't resort to any aggressive behavior. The Skinwalker then jumped into an underground cave nearby, where it could be seen disappearing. This clearly isn't the cave that anyone would go down. Alien door dashing attempt. Two friends that were gaming together in South Africa made a shocking discovery of what was waiting for them at the door. They first heard numerous bangs on the door, which they initially thought to be the pizza delivery guy, until they opened it.
Okay, if that's the pizza guy, then that's an aggressive pizza delivery guy. No, take it back and send somebody else that's a little bit more calm with my
Found
order.
out it was an unearthly being that attempted to grab one of them in desperation to find a way in. With the crime rate far gone out of hand, they had an extra layer of security doors that kept them safe. With this sort of behavior being unlikely of aliens, this one must have been either drunk or desperate to have pulled such a stunt. Hill climbing Skinwalker. If you remember a Skinwalker from earlier that was found feeding off a backyard chicken coop, this one looks very similar. Another clip was shared by a resident in Nicaragua showing a small yet intimidating looking Skinwalker that was found making its way up a hilly part of the forest. From its size, appearance, and the fact that it was also found in Nicaragua during broad daylight, this very well could be the same Skinwalker that was found feasting on live hens. The resident who found it maintained his distance to avoid any unnecessary confrontation with it. Under Bridge Rake. Venturing beneath a bridge in the dead of night can sometimes have your worst nightmare come true. A man traveling across the country decided to stop by a motel to spend the night, where he was having a smoke and heard an unwavering noise nearby. As he decided to check it out despite the dim light, he stumbled upon the unsettling presence of what's called the Rake. Rather than giving chase, the creature merely growled. Seemingly content to frighten the man away without any intention of pursuing him further. Hunt for Belfagor. The very physical presence of this haunting figure went too far beyond being just spooky that it had to be taken out. A group of trackers and hunters were called in by villagers somewhere in Mexico to handle a figure that matched the description of a Belfagor in an abandoned house nearby. The hired help started investigating the area using powerful flashlights and live firearms, with the sole intention of shooting it down. Every time they noticed the being, it would resort to using deadly force. Despite being outgunned and outnumbered, the Belfagor-like figure managed to disappear into the darkness of the night. Deforesting giant. From the likes of aliens possessing supernatural abilities to Sasquatches or Bigfoot, the nature of this one fits them all. After numerous reports of the presence of a giant in a Michigan forest, a trail camera that was set up by curious Sasquatch watchers just by the warning sign marked by the tape. The sighting that was captured was one of its kind, showing the giant who did a very good job in hiding itself, and the only thing that was visible was it ripping the trees up in a bit of collecting firewood. Several trees were taken down by it before it picked one of them up and walked away.
I ain't gonna lie, now that was a really good video, bro. Out of all the ones, that one is the best one because I don't know what to believe in that one. Like somebody might have just got some really, really good footage of it.
Hiding Treetop alien. The intentions of this surveilling Treetop alien are just as mysterious as its nature. After having ventured into an old abandoned cave, the recorder of this clip sensed being followed by something which he was fortunate enough to not only get a glimpse of, but also catch it on his camera. It turned out to be an alienoid with a large, purplish head and unpleasant-looking face, though it strangely had quite a slimy-looking face. Its posture, whether it was that of a friendly nature or taunting, is not known. Morphing anomaly. By having a careful glimpse at this entity, it almost seems like a witch that's morphing into a hairless werewolf. An archaeologist who, after finding a fossil of what looks to be an unearthly being, was following science to track its whereabouts that led him towards this. The spooky-looking figure terrified the recorder, who in spite of which stood his ground, causing the anomaly to be the one to step back. Could this be a woman? Or worse, a witch, turning into a werewolf? Walking humanoid ape. Perhaps this is the kind of specimen from which the theory of human evolution from monkeys was derived. While passing through the island of Flores off the coast of Indonesia, this figure with a bizarre nature was spotted staring at the boat idly. According to the source, it was estimated to be roughly over 3 feet in height, and also having very large feet. While some referred to it to be a native tribe member, others cited theories of it being a hobbit, a juvenile Bigfoot, or just some animal species that looks like a human and an ape that has never been seen before. Chasing Dementor Witch. The existence of such an entity would largely be an argument, until you get to see it for yourself. A treasure hunter that was following the clues, looking for an entrance to some ancient cave, ultimately had his path crossed with this unfriendly, shadowy figure. It was tall and completely dark colors, and was ruthlessly running towards the recorder. Run! Whether its intentions were sinister.
Now that kind of looked like a gorilla. Something like that. And can you outrun a gorilla? The entire time I'm thinking when she's saying run, I'm thinking it's too late, lady. I think gorillas are fast though. I'm gonna have to look that up. What's their top speed that they can run at? Because I'm thinking that's what this is. Now it could be Bigfoot, I don't know. But
or it was just trying to scare away the treasure hunter is uncertain. But clearly, no one in their right mind would stand their ground to this thing. The source named it to be exactly as per its physical description, a chasing Dementor witch. Spying cryptid dwarf.
What?
A cryptid dwarf certainly wouldn't have a purpose being in a place like this without having any agenda. A tourist that was visiting the site of historical ruins in Greece bumped into this cryptid dwarf that was watching him from close distance.
Why is he peeking? Why is he peeking?
It didn't shed any aggressive or confrontational behavior, even after being spotted. Aside from turning around and fleeing. With it having similar resemblance to the mythical cryptid folklore entities, it was named as such and is believed to be living in or around this historical area of ruins. Backyard Skinwalker. It isn't always just the darkness of the night when these unearthly beings make their presence known. Sometimes it can be in broad daylight. Footage taken in April 2022 on the backside of a house in Nicaragua showed a skinwalker that was snacking on a chicken coop next to the patio of the house. Once the owner heard distressing noises and growling, he went out to investigate and discovered this scary-looking skinwalker. Upon being spotted and cornered at the same time, the skinwalker attempted to jump the recorder before climbing the wall and fleeing. Home-invading alien.
Acabo de ver algo en toda esta zona del parque.
Of all the living creatures, having to find a juvenile alien breaking into your home is the last thing you'd have expected. A local in Puerto Rico was left in panic when he noticed this juvenile-sized alien that had somehow made its way into his home. Apart from both of them being very curious of each other, and with the homeowner being in fear, neither of them took any action in or towards it. As he ran out of his home in panic, that juvenile alien followed, but at the same time was considerate enough to keep and maintain his distance. Dark furred entity. Unlike the aliens, Bigfoot, or ghosts that are much easier to identify, one can hardly tell what this entity is. Philippine villagers, after hearing distressing noises in the forest, went out to investigate and discovered this human yet animalistic dark furred entity.
Now, I know the last thing I saw I thought was a gorilla. I don't know what this could be, but whatever it is, it's not scared of them. It's not backing down. And yeah, they might want to leave.
Went completely silent upon detection and took a defensive posture upon detection, while also showing signs of fear of confrontation. The villagers were terrified of its furry, dark body texture, with the only thing that was clearly visible being its eyes. Regardless if this was some animal or a beastly creature, it certainly wouldn't be as forgiving had it been cornered.
Yeah, you can clearly see it ain't scared of confrontation.
Fighting back cave guardian. Just as they are guards to keep ancient treasures from falling into the wrong hands, this one had a furry giant. A hiker who, after spotting a Bigfoot, decided to follow it, hoping to get a lot of his own questions and rumors answered themselves, until things started to go unexpectedly haywire. The Bigfoot, instead of hiding itself or disappearing into the forest, resorted to lashing earthly matter towards his follower. The hiker, who never thought or was prepared for such a response, cut the video and claimed to have turned around and fled for his life. The simple fact that Bigfoots have never resorted to violence despite years and years of them being tracked shows there was something monumental that could have been discovered here. Deceased alien carcass. With aliens always seeming to be coming and going with all those sightings, discoveries like these were long overdue. A man went into the woods and found a strange alien body that looked really well preserved. He touched it, and it felt like it was still alive, which surprised him a lot. Then he remembered that the Mexican government said aliens were real, and even showed some alien mummies to Congress in 2023. When he compared what he found to those mummies, they looked very similar, nearly the same. He doesn't know where the alien he found came from, or where it went, but if it's not from Mexico, then maybe there are aliens living on Earth. Exploring alien spotted. If you have seen footage of UFOs landing or taking off in remote locations, seeing them on the ground would make sense. A video dating back to April 2017 shows an owner of a private property in the countryside noticing an alien that looked to be walking around and exploring the area. The moment he noticed it, it left him in a shock, as well as the alien that felt to have been compromised. Before the man could have a second glimpse at it, it disappeared without a trace. Now, although no UFO sightings were reported by him, it very well could have made a stealthy landing with this alien exploring the area. Unwelcoming duendes. What would be anyone's worst nightmare of bumping into a scary figure turned into this exploring expedition? A lone paranormal investigator decided to check out a haunted part of the forest that remains undisclosed in March 2024. Where he had an unexpected encounter. The figures in the dark are believed to be duendes, and they appeared suddenly from underneath a bridge. They started tossing several small branches at the recorder in an effort to discourage him from going any further. Both the figures then disappeared into the darkness just as quickly as they appeared. Field Baphomet. After seeing this, it's probably safe to say that Baphomet does move around more often than thought. Technicians who arrived to check a power line tower in Idaho's woodland countryside spotted this unknown figure in the dark with devil-like horns surveilling and possibly even following them. Instead of getting closer to check it out, the source thought it would be much safer to zoom in on it.
I mean, do you blame them? You can't tell what that is. And the way it knows they're there. And it seems like it's more scared of them just as much as they are of it. But at the same time, I still don't know what it is. So I would definitely keep my distance.
Possibly identify it, and also just to record it from a distance. The clip was later shared on social media in a quest for answers. Cattle farmer troubles. Wild animals aren't the only risks that you'd face living and farming in open country, but also suddenly appearing alien entities. A cattle farmer in Texas was busy taking down coyotes using a thermal scope to protect his livestock herd when he got a thermal signature of an unknown humanoid-like figure standing in the midst of the trees. The clip, dating to November 18th, 2022, shows the figure moving in a manner almost as if it knew exactly where the farmer was positioned. The recorder and the farmer reported being the only two present on their property far into the countryside, which rules out the possibility of this being a human. However, the appearance of its thermal signature shows its nature to be mortal.
I need one of those thermal cameras like that. I like that view to be able to see clear through everything out there and pick up the heat signature of something moving. Yeah. I need one of those. I need one of those. There's some trees behind my home.
Real-life Hollow Man. Seems like there are a lot of things in Hollywood movies that actually exist, which we never would have believed to be possible. Like this. A security camera recorded a rare moment showing a see-through silhouette of what looks to be a hollow man that was interacting with two dogs. With it tossing treats to them, the dogs, instead of barking at them, being in fear or aggressive, stuck around for the treats, almost as if they knew it. Apart from a human-like body structure, this act of compassion reveals its actual nature to be that of a human that somehow turned invisible. Since other sightings were made again, nothing much can be said about this hollow man or figure. Skimpy alien. In the manner of how it looks and is walking, it shows that there's something really wrong with this tall alienoid. An effortlessly captured footage of a tall, skimpy alien was recorded by a planted trail camera in the forests of Alberta, Canada. The tall figure looked nothing like a human and had two long legs that it was struggling to walk with, almost as if it were injured. Meanwhile, it also had a very bendy neck. And it gets worse. It also didn't seem to have any visible arms, which could very well be blamed on it getting in some terrible fight, or jumped by some wild animal. The camera that captured it was originally planted as part of an effort to study bear populations and behavior.
You know, y'all get me with the fact that y'all always place the camera in the perfect spot to capture these phenomena, whatever it is. Y'all place the camera in the perfect spot. Like, the chances of me going outside and placing a trail camera somewhere and getting some action are slim to none. but it seems like they always place it. That's what makes us skeptical about a lot of the videos.
Possessed witch surveilling. The thought of running into a witch may be terrifying, let alone if it also possessed a spirit. While out for a smoke, a man spotted this scary-looking witch that popped out right in front of him, just spitting distance away. According to him, it was completely white from the hair all the way to its choice of dress, apart, of course, from the black spots around the eyes, and was under the influence of some spirit. For some weird reason, he didn't seem surprised nor scared of it, while at the same time practiced caution. Levitating and spinning. Usually, developments like these are a gateway entrance to some ancient hidden cave. An unnamed source shared this small clip showing two massive slabs made of rock and concrete that were not only levitating in midair, but also spinning. Initially, he was looking around for some answers, until nothing came or happened. The source added that there was a tiny being hidden behind the slabs who he believes to be controlling all of this. You know there's gotta be something more powerful than gravity and the mass of the stone around that's allowing this to be a possibility. Impersonating extraterrestrial. The technological aspects of the aliens are often looked at far too much that their physical potential is completely overlooked. A passing pedestrian somewhere in India shared this inexplicable clip showing a man who managed to push a large dump truck to make way for another incoming truck to swiftly pass. Despite the Good Samaritan's intentions that were shown here, its nature is questioned if it's a really strong alien that's either taken or transformed itself to look like a human, just to blend in and live amongst us.
No way, not possible. I don't care what you say. That is not possible. I don't even care if it was somebody stuck up under and your adrenaline rush was going and you just superhuman. No, you're not sliding no 18-wheeler or no dump truck or whatever that was.
Zombified humanoid. Most caves may be haunted by some ghost, spirit, or alien, but this one had something far scarier. An explorer decided to check out a really old cave until this zombified entity figure appeared right at the fence near the entry gate. From it having completely white eyes to sharply decaying teeth and facial tissue shows this to be an actual zombie. Upon realizing how fortunate he was that this zombified figure was on the other side of the fence, with unknown more, he immediately decided to turn around and not to disclose the whereabouts of this cave for obvious reasons. Haunted crucifixion. The possibility of crucifixion might not be the thing of the current date and time, leaving behind the only other explanation. Footage shared anonymously by a source shows a cross where the symbolizing Christ figure can be seen looking around almost as if it were a person. The clip, which is mostly blurry all around, was focused merely on the figure that would continuously look at the source and pretend in between so as not to get compromised. What this was or how it happened remains an unsolved mystery. Floating una bruja. The more important question that's to be asked here is not if it still lives, but its actual nature. A boat owner was untowing his boat to set out for a planned sailing trip when he noticed a face of what's now being called una bruja that had only its head out and was floating, making exactly no movement. While most would be terrified of such an encounter, the man reacted in more of a pissed-off manner by smacking it with the end of his boat paddle twice before the footage abruptly got cut off. Church bells in woods. Usually, the sound of church bells may have a positive vibe to them. However, in situations like these, that begs to differ. Two adventure-loving junkies that were passing through a wetland forest in Florida, where in the pitch darkness of the night, they both started to hear the sounds of church bells.
Being in the Florida swamps, pitch black at night, is just dangerous within itself. Y'all are crazy, man. Y'all crazy.
At first, they both thought to themselves of their ears to be ringing, until both figured out that wasn't the case. With the nearest inhabited town being dozens of miles away, both were left under the impression of something that was inviting them to their doom. Mystery floater. Having to find any floater, without a doubt, is quite tragic. In this case, it also largely triggered a guessing competition. Onlookers from a remote part of Paraguay discovered this floater of an unknown nature that left them in both fear and confusion as they examined it with a long, dry branch. The mystery creature was furless, with its fists that looked very similar to that of a human. Speculations rose calling this an alien wild animal to a mythically known creature called a chupacabra, the very animal that lives on feeding on animal blood. The latter case was largely questioned, but the physical similarities are largely believed to remain. Flying caped creature. The shape and the very reddish dye clearly shows that this was someone wearing a superhero cape. Footage taken at the time of dusk showed a human-like creature that was wearing a bright red cape and was somehow flying in the sky like it was Superman. The long distance, darkness of the dusk, and extra pixelated effect of zooming in made it impossible to get a good look at what this could have been. Frankenstein.
I was thinking a witch. What else is gonna just fly out in red like that and just look like, no. I was definitely thinking a witch.
An alienoid. A group of friends were passing by the woods in Chile around sunset when they saw something moving inside of the bushes. They kept their distance for an obvious reason and started recording. The mythical creature seemed to have a face like a human with teeth and eyes on the center of its torso. For obvious reasons, the recorders remained hidden, as we can clearly state that this creature looks like nothing from this world. Due to its spooky appearance, everyone on the internet started calling it to be a Frankenstein alien, since it looks to be the most scary alien ever seen to date. Orc Shaman. Every month, the Motorcycle Club, fueled by the need for excitement, embark on their customary ride. On this particular occasion, as they traversed Washington Forest in Virginia, they halted to scout out an alternative route. Suddenly, a peculiar creature emerged.
I was just about to say, you know what? That seemed pretty cool. I might be down for something like that. Then they showed me this, and I'm like, no, thank you. Never mind. My bad. I'm mad I even thought about that.
Emerged from the dense woods, captured on one of the helmet cams. It resembled a diminutive figure with a lengthy beard, reminiscent of an orc shaman. While everyone maintained a cautious distance, one impulsive individual decided to challenge the creature's reaction by advancing towards it.
That looked like somebody from a tribe. And then you know them tribes don't play. They don't like outsiders or nothing like that.
To everyone's surprise, instead of fleeing, the shaman-like being advanced, causing the daring individual to hastily retreat. Hidden in garage. Stalkers can take various forms, even extraterrestrial ones. One day, a man was busy cleaning out his family's old garage when he sensed he was being observed. Peering through a small hole in the wall, he spotted an unknown being fixated on him. Despite being noticed, the entity remained motionless, its gaze unwavering, before it vanished suddenly. Initially mistaken for a cat, its lack of typical feline behavior and absence of any instinctual response hinted at something far more strange. Alien insect. You might be quite familiar with giant insects like wasps or killer hornets, but this one's far bigger and way scarier. This unique critter was filmed by a passerby who was just as confused and terrified as anyone would be upon seeing it. Having not seen such an insect before, he decided to film it. And to make it worse, this is what it sounded like. Imagine stumbling upon a swarm of these terrifyingly large creatures that are aggressively approaching. But what is it?
I don't know if it's in distress or calling for help from others.
A rare insect species? Or a type of xenomorph blasting its way out of Mother Nature? You tell me. Underworld or underground cave? If aliens can build sophisticated flying saucers, they could certainly make an underground cave like this. A group of friends that were digging through what they found to be artificial ice found an uncanny underground cave. Though nothing or no one was seen anywhere in or around it, it was very vastly open with exactly no visible walls or pillars hindering the view or supporting the roof. However, it was only a couple of feet deep, making it a challenge for anyone to go down and under to investigate where or what this cave had led to. rock-carved cave. Looks like it's not just the humans that are making underground doomsday bunkers or caves. Hunters and trackers that were working together to track and find a possible jackpot instead discovered secret cave doors that were camouflaged with rocky texture and had a small vented opening going into a large rock, exposing the very underground cave built within. Though nothing was seen anywhere in or around the area, these hidden caves or bunkers clearly were either abandoned or its occupants didn't seem to be around.
Okay, you piqued my interest. Go inside. I want to see.
Cave alien silhouette. This wasn't some dense train line, but a large opening to an underground cave that was guarded by an extraterrestrial silhouette. A lost hiker came across this large cave-like opening somewhere in the forest in Michigan. What he noticed was that the cave entrance opened up in appearance for something or someone, with a large figure that was hiding within, and also guarding the area at that same time. The man stuck around the area long enough, expecting some sort of activity, until his battery started to run out, before he decided to sneak his way out and get far away from the area. Mummified elf. Had Santa ever seen you holding such a thing? Oh, he'd be very upset. A clip shared on social media on June 19th, 2019 showed a tiny toy statue, which was later said to be a mummified elf that was found in a deep, abandoned cave in the North Pole. The owner started seeking answers while choosing to remain anonymous, until there was more about it that could come to light. Open discussion. This picture and video were taken on June 3rd, 2021 in the thick woods of Brazil, near a small town where a local was left surprised to discover a hidden cave under hilly, rocky terrain. From it, he noticed 2 or more alien figures that were coming out and walking towards the fence of the town. The local that was seeing them all from a window of an abandoned house was then suddenly taken by surprise, as the aliens seemed to sense his presence. In doing so, they started to chase him, where the footage abruptly gets cut off. Fortunately, the source managed to get to a safer location, unscathed.